everybody, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel, Love Without Limits. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 tips on staying consistent in your nutrition and fitness journey. So if you want to see that, then just keep watching. This time of the year, as I briefly mentioned in my video last week, is super hard because of all the food coming around and just all the events, just a bunch of different things going on that really fills up our schedule and gets us off track. And then it slams right into the same time when we're like, time to make resolutions, make new goals. I'm gonna hit this goal. I'm gonna do this with my diet. I'm gonna do this with fitness. And then because your expectations are so high and you get super excited at the start of the year, that excitement and that motivation that you start off with starts to fade after a while, after like 2 months on average. And by the end of the year, by this time again, you're looking back and you're like, I didn't really reach those goals. And then you gotta like beat yourself up over it. You set such high expectations, you had such a high goal, and it just didn't last. And that kind of sucks. So then you go into another new year, and it's just this cycle that keeps happening year after year. It's definitely a cycle that needs to be broken, but hopefully these 5 tips on staying consistent can help you. Having a good mindset going into it and keeping these tips in mind, I think will help you stay on track and stay consistent with these goals, not only for just the year or for the goal itself, but for the long run. The first tip is to be realistic with your schedule and what you are capable of doing. If you tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week, you could either get overwhelmed and end up not starting because you're like, oh, this week's busy, I can't do it, or that's just too much. This is like this 5-day plan, and instead of backing off of that plan and just not doing 5 days, you're like, it's just too much, I'm not gonna start it right now, I'll start it next week. Or you do start it and you miss a day for whatever reason, and you're like, what's the point? I can't stay consistent with it. Why am I like even trying? And then you fall off the wagon. Like, those are 2 really common things as to why people don't stick with certain routines or certain plans to their goals, because they set too big of expectations for themselves. And you definitely need to be realistic in what your schedule allows. Take into consideration your work schedule, especially if it's not super consistent, if you have a commute, if you have family things, or if you have events going on. Like every Saturday you have to take your child to a sports game, or every Friday you're going on a dinner date. Like, you have to take all of this into consideration when planning your schedule. For you, a 5-day-a-week workout plan isn't going to work and might not even be necessary, especially if you are somebody newer to the gym. Just a couple days a week is totally fine of any exercise or of any movement. So definitely taking an honest look at your schedule and your responsibilities in life, and looking at where working out and exercising and having this other routine can fit in without taking away from anything else that you need to do. I always think it's better to start on the lower ends of things. Stick with the lower end. Say, okay, I can go to the gym on like 2 days a week. It might not be the same 2 days a week every week. It could be like Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, but you know that you can go at least 2 days a week, and make a plan or find a plan that fits that. And if you are able to have a 3rd day where like, oh, it turns out like my Monday and Wednesday I went to the gym, but Thursday I'm also free and I want to work out. And then you'll feel better about having done your planned schedule plus adding something else on, because you have that time and you found that time available, and that will kind of encourage you and motivate you, like, wow, I feel great because I did get that 3rd day in, versus setting too high of expectations and not being able to reach that is really demotivating. It will make you more likely to fall off of your plan altogether. And that goes into tip 2, and that is do what you enjoy. If you hate running, like me, don't run. Nobody's forcing you to. Of course, having good cardiorespiratory exercise is important just for your heart health and to be able to have that. After a few games of beach volleyball the other weekend, I realized that I'm definitely lacking in that department and is somewhere I should improve. But again, I don't enjoy running. If I am going to do it, I love, again, playing beach volleyball, and that's just like a fun way to get exercise and get that cardiorespiratory exercise in. Or if I'm at the gym, I would rather choose the stationary bike instead of the treadmill. So do what you love, because if you don't enjoy doing it, if you dread every second that you're doing it, you're not going to want to stick to it. Instead of finding enjoyment, you're going to find excuses. There are also so many different ways to work out. So if you love doing yoga, like, just do yoga. If you love running, feel free to run. And each exercise format does have its own pros and cons and benefits and reasons why you should do it. But again, while some are really important, that doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time. You can definitely sprinkle a little bit of it in there to have a nice, well-balanced exercise routine. And of course, this is a little different if you're somebody who's competing, or if you want to put on a bunch of muscle, then doing a yoga only workout routine might not be for you, even if you love yoga. So you do have to be a bit realistic of, okay, what do I love and what will help me reach whatever my goals are, and hopefully those align, or you can do a mix of both. And the same can be said with nutrition. If you look online and everybody's saying like, do this diet, do this diet, do this diet, and you try it and you feel horrible doing it, you're like, you know, I don't feel great, my energy levels aren't good, I hate what I'm eating. In the end, you just fall off completely, and again, do a full 180 to where you're like, screw this diet, I'm gonna go over here and just eat sugar, because who cares, that diet didn't work for me. Even if you look online, it has this benefit, this benefit, this benefit. If you're not gonna stick with it, don't do it, because then it's just gonna make it harder, it's gonna make it miserable. As long as you're eating mostly whole, unprocessed, healthy, non-packaged foods, that's a really good start. And you don't even really need to stick to a specific diet, just eating well-balanced meals of natural good foods. And that does kind of lead into tip 3, and that is to allow for flexibility. Something that everybody really talks about when it comes to nutrition and eating well is the 80-20 rule. So that means 80% eat whole, unprocessed, natural foods, good micronutrients, getting all your vitamins, minerals, and then 20% of the time, it's the holiday season. Drink that eggnog and go to Salt and Straw. Like, do that, have fun. Don't completely restrict yourself or make anything off limits, because then it's just not fun. It's not enjoyable. You won't want to stick to it because you'll feel like you're missing out on something. So allowing that little bit of wiggle room, that a fifth of the time, you can go and have those nice holiday treats. You can go and have a delicious gluten-free muffin. So you're allowed to do that, and don't do that and be like, oh, fell off, like I had that muffin and it was really good, but now I feel guilty, and just like, what's the point? Doing that is just not a good mindset, and it just makes you like yo-yo and go up and down, and you really end up beating yourself up over it and making it a stressful thing, when again, we all need to eat, we all have to eat to live. It should be enjoyable. There's so many options out there. Just make smarter decisions 80% of the time. And in terms of fitness, having flexibility allows for you to have days off, allows for you to listen to your body and be like, you know what, I'm actually like really sore. I don't feel like going to the gym today. Instead, I'll do yoga, or instead I'll just stretch and have a really chill day, but I don't feel like working out, and allow for that flexibility and say like, you know, I can get to it tomorrow. Just allowing for those extra days for rest and for not pounding your body and just going at it, because then you just, again, it creates a lot more physical stress, and working out is a form of stress on your body. That's how you lose fat and build muscle, but you don't want to cause so much stress to where it just makes you mentally exhausted and you're just burning out your body, you're overworking your body, you're burning out your mind, especially again in these times with the holidays and everything's coming up. It is a little bit stressful, and you don't want to just burn out your mind because you're telling your body it needs to work out, when you can take a rest day, and just kind of factor that into building your plan, into looking at your schedule and allowing for flexibility if something does come up. Rest is also super important for reaching your fitness goals. Your body can't rebuild itself and build the muscle that you're working for if you never let it rest. Tip number 4 is to know why you're setting these fitness and nutrition goals. For me, my fitness goals are because I love feeling strong. I love being able to build muscle in different ways by changing what exercises I'm doing, by slowing down my tempo, by switching up my programming. And over the last 2 years, because of the gyms having been closed for a long time, did get into yoga. Now I love doing yoga because I feel like I have more balance. I have more connection to my muscles, especially my core, and just that mind-muscle connection, which has also really helped me in the gym, and it's also helped my posture and just how I feel in my body. So my why is because I love how I feel, and I'm not gonna lie, years back in college when I wasn't playing volleyball anymore. I did start going to the gym because I started to feel a little unconscious in my body. I just wasn't feeling super in shape and it was kind of making my confidence go down. I didn't like how I feel, so I did go to the gym more so for like external validation, for external reasons. And I'm not saying that that's a horrible thing to do, because starting off going there because I wanted to look fit and skinny and to feel good in my body has over all these years transformed into like, no, now I love going to the gym. I love seeing my numbers go up in what I can lift, and I love seeing that my squat can get deeper because I've been focusing more on yoga and I've even backed off my weight, and now having deeper squats I can do a little bit more weight, and I love those things of it. But it did start because I just wanted to look good and feel good in my body, and now I just love that I get to feel strong, and in turn that has boosted my confidence in this like roundabout way. And I also love eating well, because for me, when I eat well and specifically a bit more low carb, I feel great in terms of my energy levels. I love the food that I can have on it. I don't feel restricted. And again, I follow the 80-20, so I do still allow myself to have fun things. So focusing on finding your why, like why do you want to go to the gym and get stronger or lose weight? Is it because you want to be able to squat down and play with your kids, or because you want to have more longevity and a healthier life and reduce all these risk factors so you can see your grandchildren one day? Or is it because you're going to retire soon and you want to be able to walk around Europe without all of your joints aching and having to call it in early? You want to see all the sights. So finding your why, especially a long-term why as to why you want to get healthy, why you may want to lose weight or gain muscle or gain flexibility or mobility, whatever it may be. If you just want to reduce your pain, so you want to strengthen your core because your lower back hurts all the time, finding your why will help you stick to it and make you want to go more, and then you'll just enjoy it because it's had so many benefits that you just didn't even realize. And this isn't to say that having a short-term why, like in 3 months this event is happening and I want to like maybe lose a few pounds or just gain a little bit of muscle, feel good because I'm going on vacation, I'm going to be in a bikini. But having those short-term reasons often leads to overworking and overtraining yourself and dieting down and not making the best decisions for your body in the long run, because you go all in on this, and then once that event happens you kind of let go and you're like, all right, like, okay, I did that, like I could just relax now. Versus having a long-term one will be like, okay, maybe I focus a little bit more for these 3 months. I do like 90-10 instead of 80-20 for the specific goal, but then I go back to my long-term goal of just wanting to be healthy and feel good in my body. While the short-term goals aren't necessarily bad, it's definitely the longer term why that will keep you motivated for the long run, and that's what this is. It is, again, a very long journey. So let me know your why down in the comments. I would love to read them. And then the last tip is to track your progress. Living in your body and looking at yourself multiple times a day, like day by day, you might not see any progress or any transformation. And if you don't see it, like you don't wake up and you're like, wow, I lost 20 pounds overnight, like that's great, I should keep doing whatever that is. Like that will never happen. It's always going to be these tiny little baby steps every day. But if you don't see that, a lot of people were like, I'm not seeing any results. Like, what's the point of even eating healthy if I'm not seeing any results? So I think tracking your progress is super important, and this can be in different like subjective ways. Like, I just feel better, I have more energy, I feel stronger, and I feel, even if it's just like in your head, like I feel healthier, my body doesn't hurt as much. Or like actual, wow, I've been tracking and I put more weight on the bar, I can lift more weight, or my pants fit better, or I'm physically smaller. And taking photos of yourself, if something with your body composition is something you want to change, taking a photo of like when you start, and either every couple weeks or every month, if you try just basing your weight off of the scale, because muscle weighs more than fat, so you can easily stay the same weight as I have throughout the last 2 years, but your percentage of body fat and muscle is different. So I can look at different photos and notice that I look different in terms of how much muscle or body fat I have on me. But for the last 2 years, my weight hasn't changed too much, and it does change a little bit based on your cycle for women. So just basing it off of the scale, like it would tell me like, what are you doing any of this for? Like, you haven't lost any weight. But if I look at photos, if I look at other factors, if I looked at how much I'm getting stronger in the gym and just how much I'm feeling better in my posture and all these different things, like those factors are telling me like, yes, what you're doing is great. Keep it up, keep up the good work. good for you because the scale isn't gonna tell you too much for the most part. So having these other ways to track your progress, different ideas besides just taking photos to see how your body's progressed over a specific period of time could be to just have a note in your phone of like, oh, today I feel good, or like today I ate this and I actually kind of feel a little cruddy, and maybe I shouldn't have as much like dairy because I just feel like super bloated today, and kind of noticing that in terms of nutrition. Like if you're eating something, you're like, man, today I had this and I don't feel good, then like maybe have less of that if it doesn't make you feel good. And then if you are like, you know what, today I tried intermittent fasting, or I did intermittent fasting for the last few weeks and honestly it didn't give me inner energy. You don't need an intermittent fast. So you can definitely try different things, and if it doesn't work, then take note of that and realize, okay, it doesn't work. And again, you can take photos, you can have a spreadsheet with all of your exercises of like, on this day I did 5 reps at 150 pounds. This next week I ended up doing this. So by tracking that and seeing the little progress and like the little wins that you've made is definitely super beneficial. And I've also done spreadsheets like that where I have a little notes column on the side. So I'll say like, okay, on this day my squat was the same as last week, but honestly, like my hamstrings were a little tight. I couldn't get super deep. This day I woke up with so much energy and I was super excited to go to the gym, and like, look at how much more I lifted. Like, okay, because I got like a great night's sleep. So all of that, just like keeping note of those little things and tracking your progress, both in how you feel and in like the numbers of like how much you're lifting or how your clothes fit you as well, is super important to be able to look back and keep yourself motivated, since you aren't going to see those incremental changes day by day. It's kind of like the long-term view that you have to take of like, wow, like I've done a lot over the last few months alone. So that is super good for keeping you motivated and keeping you on track and consistent with your nutrition and fitness goals. Well, there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to stay consistent with your fitness and nutrition goals. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below what your tips are and what you want to see more of on my channel. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. I upload a new video every Wednesday. So until the next one, thanks for watching.